Hi, welcome to the Climate Channel. I'm Tani Sarker.
I'm Sophia Tasnim.
I'm Ifa Amatul.
And we're all from Toronto. We all go to the same high school and we're all in grade 10. Today, we're going to talk about the environment in our school.
We learn about the environment in science, but Tani and I haven't had science yet.
However, I had science. So this year, one of our units in science was climate change and global warming. So I learned about things such as the anthropogenic greenhouse effect, and it helped me understand climate change better. We learned about Earth's climate and how it is a result of interacting systems and processes. We explored how climate change is influenced by both natural and human factors, like burning fossil fuels or even man-made pollution. We also investigated the variety of ways climate change affects living things and natural systems. Finally, we assessed the impact of human activity on climate change and identified effective courses of action to reduce this impact, such as our ecological footprint.
And even though I haven't had science yet, in some other courses that I took, like civics, we briefly talked about global warming and the impact of Greta Thunberg, who is one of the biggest global climate activists of our generation, and other clubs like Model UN and Debate Club that I was in. We discussed climate change, and we debated about these topics. And in Model UN, the countries, their party platforms were about the environment.
Even though we didn't have a lot of courses related to the environment, we still had a lot of clubs and councils. For example, me and Ifat were in our middle school eco club, and I know Sophia, you were in your high school's eco council.
Yeah, in grade 9. Some of the things that we did in Eco Council was this compost program where essentially we took green bins and we put them in different hallways and different classrooms and the cafeterias. And from those scraps that we collected, we have a garden. So we would take the scraps and put them into the garden for the plants to help them grow. We also do different fundraisers and bake sales. And instead of doing a regular bake sale, we decided to do a vegan one to be more healthy. And with that, we did a zero waste challenge where in the bake sale, we tried our best to limit the amount of waste that we produced, and we promoted that to other students. We also did daily facts on the announcements. Greta Thunberg, she planned a global protest in 2020, and in order to do our part, we organized one in our school, and we collected garbage for house points after the event.
Yeah, I remember going to the protest. We all held signs and yelled, honk to save the environment in front of our school. It was really fun, to be honest.
Yeah, it was really fun. And also,
sorry, you go.
Yeah, go on. Also, in the middle school eco club, since we were in a kindergarten to grade 8 school, we did our best to educate the younger kids since they didn't know a lot about the environment. And we did many assemblies, we made many posters and stuck it around our school. And then we did some audits, which we went through garbage and we saw how much waste we produced. And then we made events based on the environment.
These clubs and councils we had in our school really helped to spread awareness about the topics and issues we had. For example, we did fairs, announcements, posters, and these all helped educate not only the kids, but also the adults, because kids would go home and tell their parents all about this. But the problem was sometimes it felt like this is only what the clubs did. We only spread awareness, and it felt very performative.
Yeah, related to that, both of our schools, because we went to separate middle schools, they were involved in this program called Eco Schools, which is like a certification program that promotes eco-friendliness in schools, and it gives schools a reason to try to do better at being as environmentally friendly as they can. There are over 3,000 eco schools just in Ontario, and the certification program ranges from bronze to platinum.
Yeah, you needed to make a portfolio to show everything that your school did. I remember our teachers would always worry about this portfolio, and it was how they judged if you would be bronze, gold, or platinum. But sometimes it felt like we did everything just to put it in our portfolio. We never did things just for the sake of the environment. I know Ifa has a story about that.
Yeah, all she wanted was us to get platinum. Like that was all that was important to her. And I remember the time in middle school, we were not allowed to throw our plastic waste in the school garbage, and we were forced to take it home. Like this did not lower the plastic waste overall, but only worked to make our school seem like it had a better carbon footprint, you know?
Yeah, for sure, especially since at the end of the day, it still went back to the landfill, so it seems almost pointless. On top of more bad experiences, all throughout elementary to high school, we always have to sit through these like 2-hour long assemblies that were really boring because they were just information on top of information on top of information. We weren't doing anything. And especially in this day and age, kids have such a short attention span. Just making them sit and just listen, it doesn't get them excited about the environment. So instead, we should focus on like making assemblies or having speakers that actually make us do stuff and do like events related to the climate or being more eco-friendly, or just make it as fun as possible, especially for the younger grades.
I remember we were taken out of school to sort through trash, me and Ifa, to sort through trash just so we can present a percentage of misplaced waste in our portfolio. And this made everyone so mad. Sometimes kids would throw trash in the wrong bin just because they hated the eco club for making us do all of this.
Yeah, I remember many students joined our eco club in grade 4, but like after a few years, everyone left this club because they felt that it was boring and they weren't really impacting the environment. This club should have been more fun, but instead, it was all just boring performative activism.
These clubs really needed to focus on making an actual change instead of spreading activism, because kids these days do know a lot about the environment, sometimes more than adults because of things like social media and influencers. For example, Safia talked a lot about Greta Thunberg. We already knew about her before school because she went viral online. And I follow a lot of vegan food influencers who try to spread the word about going vegan. And there are many social media trends and movements as well. For example, in 2019, the Visco Girl trend got really popular, and their motto was save the turtles by using metal straws instead of plastic straws.
Yeah, the entire trend, like how the Visco Girl trend got started, was actually from this marine biologist video, and she was showing a turtle that had this long straw up its nose, and it was very graphic and bloody because she was taking it out, and that caused a crazy outrage because so many people were like, let's stop using plastic straws. And that's when metal straws really boomed, like you said, because so many people then they were using that as like a marketing tactic to be like, no more plastic, less plastic, etc.
These trends might not seem like they do a lot for the environment, but many companies committed to getting rid of plastic straws. I know Tim Hortons just did. They estimated this would remove 300 million straws from their restaurants. My friends love getting ice caps, especially like you, Tani. You love ice coffees in the summer, and they all have like plastic straws, you know. So the transition will make our lives more eco-friendly. So like if they go from plastic straws to paper straws, like it'll really like impact our environment. Like I hope all companies do that.
This is a really great start, but the problem is the cups that I drink out of are still plastic. It doesn't really matter if the straws are paper. And plastic straws only make up for around 4% of plastic waste. And considering they're so small, it's an even lower percentage by weight. For example, Canadians use 15 billion plastic bags every single year. So I hope these companies actually commit to making a difference for the environment instead of just trying to follow a trend and keep the people happy.
And one of the marketing tactics that they use is to try to push the whole no plastic, zero waste, etc. Yeah, they push it on to little teenagers and like very impressionable audiences and people who want to try to make the environment better, but in reality, the companies and the amount of waste that they produce and all the packaging and everything before it actually gets to the consumer, that is what needs to change. Coca-Cola, Mars, Nestle, and Danone, they are responsible for 6 million metric tons of plastic every year. In civics, I learned that even if in American households, even if 100% of the households, they recycled every single piece of waste they could, that would only reduce the landfill, like the amount of waste in landfills by 3%. Just 3%. That means that these huge companies that are marketing to us, be more eco-friendly, use less plastic, etc., they are producing 97% of all the waste in landfills. And to me, that seems extremely hypocritical.
Yeah, they're pushing the issue onto the consumers instead of them who are the people who are actually creating the problem. And
yeah,
in
it's really
Canada,
performative.
9% of plastic waste is actually recycled. Like you said, we have to recycle 100%. If we recycled 100%, it would still be 3% of the total. And Nestle is constantly under fire for stealing water from the First Nation reserves. And even though First Nations were on this land first, they're treated as second to big companies like Nestle. And they have dirty water in Canada, where there are 5 Great Lakes. So it shows how much we care about companies versus the actual people.
I definitely agree. And it's crazy that as children, we need to worry about our own future because these companies are pumping plastics and toxins into our oceans and contributing to air pollution with these factories, like it's really crazy to me.
Yeah, and in China, they actually have to wear masks to school, not because of coronavirus, but because the air pollution is so bad that they need to protect themselves from it. And it's crazy that these companies are pumping out all this pollution into the air, causing climate change, causing all of this. These are ruining these kids' lives, but to them, it's just another way to make money.
Yeah, it is so messed up. And in order to make these products that are being sold to consumers, companies add in toxins, and then once they get disposed of, which is really soon, they get all those toxins that were used to make it, they get burned, and when they get disposed of, they go up into the air, and that destroys the ozone layer, which is actually supposed to protect us from the sun's harmful rays. And I'm pretty sure Earth, we only feel about 30% of the sun's heat because 70% of it gets trapped in the ozone layer, or else the planet will start overheating. But as we can see from climate change, since the ozone layer is being destroyed from pollution, that is why our planet is overheating, because we are getting too many harmful rays and too much of the heat from the sun. Not only does the toxins going up into the ozone layer completely destroy it and make our planet worse, they also create acid rain because it gets trapped in the clouds, and that just destroys even more nature.
Nowadays, it's so hard to go on social media or any other platform without hearing some crazy fact about the environment. About 2.8 million tons of plastics will end up in Canadian landfills every year. By 2050, there will be no more plastic in the oceans. There will be more plastic in the oceans than fish. It's just all of these crazy facts. And I know a lot of people from our generation feel hopeless because even if everyone switched to metal straws or did all of these things, went vegan, went zero waste, it's still not enough because there are these companies, these people who are ruining the environment. We can't do anything about it. It feels like we can't do anything about it.
Like, I definitely agree. Like, living a life with no eco footprint is basically impossible. Not only do we have to go through air pollution with cars if we want to get anywhere, but now we can't even buy anything without supporting a company that ruins our earth,
For sure. But at the same time, these companies would be nothing without us because we are driving their business. Like, we are the consumers. And the Visco girls were able to bully companies into using paper straws instead of plastic and reducing the plastic waste. And we can do it again by voting with our money, aka boycotting these different companies to try to get them to do what's right. For example, we can boycott Nestle to let them to give back to the indigenous people their clean water, because that is so messed up.
Like if we just stop buying for them, it'll like easily, you know, make a big difference.
Yeah, if a bunch of 13-year-olds online got so many companies to start using paper straws, I'm pretty sure we could do it again. We just have to get rid of the mindset that we mean nothing, our contributions mean nothing. Yeah, every one of us using a metal straw won't change so much, but if we boycott, if we email these companies, if we stop buying from them, soon we might start to see change.
They won't have like consumers, so since they won't have consumers, like then they'll stop.
And their business is gone.
Yeah. So we definitely need to start.
I think we all need to remember this going forward.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we have a greater impact than we think, or we can have a greater impact than we think. We just need to band together and like be determined on retaking our future.
And it's like really easy to start simple trends like these, you know, like the Visco girls. Maybe like TikTok's such a big thing now. Like if we, you know, start making these trends, then
oh yeah, for sure. More.
And I think this is the message we want to leave you with. You might think like you can't do anything for the environment, but you really can, because it's not just you. We all want to change. So thank you for watching the Climate Channel with us.
Stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.